Yo, what's up? It's Jaamon. You're gonna watch my picks for the 3.15 league start. These are gonna be guides that I already prepared early on, and I even put a fresh video before putting this video, alright? So there are gonna be a couple of videos. All of them are obviously build guides prepared by me, so expect to learn everything from those videos, alright? So these are builds that I played a couple of times over the years. These are not new builds, no Terrorcraft or whatever. These are guaranteed builds that you can actually play. I played these like a couple of times. Lots of people played. These are not new builds, alright? So you can actually safely play these. But I am making an assumption. So here's something about everything that's going on right now. So in 3.15, everything is getting nerfed. Even trap builds, because they said something like traps are not gonna get affected that much. But they actually obviously got less nerf, alright? But everything got nerfed. If you know any build that actually survived, let other people know maybe, or just don't, I don't know, maybe keep that for yourself. But as far as I know, everything got nerfed. So it's gonna be actually like a beta league. Maybe even some of these builds are not gonna be that strong as we think, alright? So that's why, especially if you are a new player or a casual player who actually don't want to waste any time maybe, just skip the first week, don't even play, just check what's going on, watch your favorite, content creators, read the forum or whatever. So maybe try to find a build that actually haven't got that much of a nerf by, watching and following those people. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's just check my picks. Fire and Flamethrower traps, Saboteur. So I am actually the owner of this guide. I prepared this, made this build once they first added Flamethrower traps. I also have a written guide, that's the only guide I believe. I played this maybe like 7 times over the years, played lots of different versions. So this is actually a very underrated, because first of all it's a trap, plus it's a fire skill. That's why this is a very underrated, not well known build. So whenever I play this, I am just rank 1 immediately. That's pretty much it what's going on with this build. So this is a very strong character. I also made a fresh, quick guide about this. But again, there's a written guide. So just check whatever you want, the video guide or the written guide. So in the end, the build uses fire trap plus flamethrowers. Flamethrowers are actually traps that also has a cooldown. So you want to invest in some cooldown plus anomalous quality. Once the heist, people just start doing heist, you can just buy that later on. So you can actually have way less cooldown after some point. So you can just start spamming them. But obviously we want to use a fire trap as a filler, because in the end flamethrower will still have some cooldown. So that's why we are using both of them. These traps actually also have some synergies between them, because you actually want to burn the target, ignite, whatever you can do with that fire trap. So actually both fire trap and flamethrower can deal more damage, because those gems, both of them, has actually added damage and more damage to burning enemies. So that's why this is a very strong combination. This is probably still the strongest trap build in the game. But for Saboteur and these kind of cheaper trap builds, let's say, because I don't spend that much, you actually don't need, but after the nerfs maybe you want to spend extra for this build. But if you plan to play dodge plus life version like I did, the build is not super tanky or something like that. If you are looking for a tanky build, this is not your build. But if you just want to burn everything, kill bosses, and even after the nerfs, I highly believe that this is gonna have a lot of DPS. So if that's something that you are looking for, definitely try this build. Next build, Dominating Blow Guardian. This is one of the most underrated minion build in the game. The reason for that is it is probably a melee plus a Guardian build. So after the Flask nerfs, Guardian is actually a good choice maybe for this league, because he has 80% reduced curse effect. So you can actually skip a curse flask, so Guardian is a very good choice maybe. He's already a tanky character with lots of block and armor, obviously. So Dominating Blows are melee minions that you actually summon by attacking. You can kill monsters or just attack a unique monster, so you can actually spawn them even at boss fights. We are also using Herald of Purities, which are the other minions that we are using. So they are another melee minions which actually deals way more DPS compared to Dominating Blows. So combining all of them, you can actually have a little army This is also a hardcore viable build which I myself played a couple of times. I even have videos, you can just find those. I died actually at 97 levels, I believe, in a map boss. Yeah, it was a stupid death. So definitely a very solid character. For single target DPS after the nerfs, obviously you want to maybe push that end game gear as soon as possible. You will probably have a little struggle with some high red tier maps after the nerfs. So you should definitely stick around at lower tier maps maybe and finish those upgrades. But in the end, this build is not super expensive or anything. Way cheaper compared to all of those Golem and Spectre builds. But obviously those builds maybe after even the nerfs, maybe they're going to be way more powerful obviously. But this is another alternative and a solid league starter if you want to just give it a go. Ancestral, Warchief, Chieftain, and then maybe Berserker. So this is actually two different builds. So I recently uploaded this video. This is something that I played a lot of times over the years. I played lots of versions, you know, Berserker Face Breakers, Berserker Chaos Totems. That is a guide that I actually made myself. That was very popular because of me in Heist League. You can also check that video if you want. So in the end, yes, you can just start as a Chieftain, Ancestral Warchief with Brutus Lead Sprinkler Weapon. So it's a strength stacking fire build at first. In the end, if you just want to use this build as a boss killer, you can just go for Berserker Chaos Totems. But that's gonna be a squishy character. You should only use that character for boss killing. But you can just stick to playing Chieftain because he is way more tankier. So also good for mapping. Plus, another thing about this build. So recently totems got a little change. You can actually support multi-strike to totems right now. And they also added new support gem for slam skills. So you can actually make slam skills as totems after the patch, once the patch is live. So that's something that I am gonna actually try and upload a video as soon as possible. So in the end, if you don't want Ancestral Warchiefs, you can maybe switch to those slam totems. If they are good, we will see. Or just use those Berserker or whatever. Or maybe play with another character. But totems are actually very solid league starters. So if you want some good build, definitely try this. So these three were the most recent guides that I have prepared. Maybe I will just mention a couple of more builds, maybe in the path of building right now. So another build that may be possible is an Occultist, Essence Drain and Blight. So when people were playing Trickster a couple of leagues ago, maybe years ago, I always played an Occultist, and after that she actually got buffed. These weren't like that before, alright. So she actually got buffed after a couple of leagues later. So I actually made this guide, I believe, 2 leagues ago. That's why it's a little old, but nothing has actually changed. But in 3.15, obviously, this build also got nerfed. So this is a very powerful league starter if you know what you're doing. So this is gonna be a build for people who have actually a little knowledge about the game, alright? Because dot builds otherwise can be a little challenging for you. So Essence Drain plus Blight. So at league start with a Cane of Unraveling weapon, very cheap. You just want to start playing with that. You can even buy this while leveling, you know, in Blood Aqueduct maybe. Requires level 60. So just buy this as soon as possible. Just use some basic gear, life resist, you know, +1 level of gems after a couple of days. These kind of chests are good because we actually use 2 different skills, which is, one of them is actually Blight. The other one is gonna be Essence Drain. So you just want to use Essence Drain with Contagion so you can clear maps, and also use Blights at bosses. So I already have a video guide on this, lots of video, boss clips, whatever. So just check that guide. Alright, so these were my picks for the Expedition League. But again, this is gonna be a beta test league. Everything got nerfed. Maybe some of these builds are not gonna be that strong after these nerfs, because everything is on paper right now. We haven't actually tested anything after the nerfs, obviously. So if you want, you know, if you are curious about any of these builds, just go for that. You just need to do something at the league start, alright? Maybe my builds or other people's build, everything is at paper right now. We don't know anything. So just pick something and go for that. Maybe waste a couple of days. We don't know. So one last build. This is not a recommendation, by the way, because I actually prepared this for league start. But right now we don't know anything about this build. Spellslinger builds. So actually trigger skills actually right now costs also mana on top of reservation on spellslinger, which is stupid. But they confirmed that spellslinger will actually cost mana on top of that reservation. So the build might be dead, we don't know. I'm gonna actually test this as soon as possible once the servers are live. And if it works, I will just update the video. So my spellslinger video right now doesn't have 3.15 title, obviously. So if you are looking for that, just maybe don't play the first day. Just chill, you know. After that, I will just obviously try the build. Maybe other content creators are also looking for that. If the build still works, I will just update it. So maybe you can also play spellslinger. So definitely stay tuned for that. I am very curious about what's going on. And this was all about the video. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like if you like my work, you know. And I will see you next time.